Hey everyone, Frugal Panda here with a visit to Coos Bay, Oregon. We are in early October time frame when I do this ride. This is going to be Coos Bay, Oregon. This is along the coast, along the 101. This is one of the largest cities in between Seattle and Northern California. So it is the largest city in Oregon. And I'm not for sure if it's the largest city in Washington. I believe it is too. I'm talking about ocean or beach communities, coastal towns, coastal cities. There's like 16,000 people that live here. So this is not a town. A lot of people live in cities, get confused, and they call cities towns because they're smaller. This has all the amenities of a larger city, most of them. You got a Walmart. I'm not for sure it's a Walmart, but there's large box stores here. There's lots of shopping, fairly decent sized hospital. It's fairly busy, and it's also, people come here for tourism when their main industries is tourism. It's also going to be I don't want to say timber, but more forestry. I know you see a lot of log trucks and everything coming through here and stuff like that. And probably fishing commerce as well. I'm just riding around. Unbeknownst to me, I was starting to get a little bit sick. I was getting the sniffles, and I would actually have to cut my visit short, not to Coos Bay, but later on in my trip. I still got mostly everything I'd done, but it was kind of a bummer later on. Right now, I'm just starting to get a little bit of the sniffles, so I wasn't really impacted. I got here, I had driven from Eureka, Arcata area where I had stayed. And you'll see those videos too. You'll see them before this video. And so I drove up here and I said one of the things on my bucket list or on my checkoff list this time was to actually at least spend a day in Coos Bay, checking out, riding my bike, get a bite to eat and stuff like that. And I did get here later, and well, it was probably early afternoon, so let me rewind that. But along the coast, especially around the fall time, the fog rolls in. When you wake up in the morning, the fog's already there, and it takes around 11 noon sometimes for it to burn off, and then you got about 4 or 5 hours of sunshine, and then it starts clouding up a little bit like it's doing here, but it might not have been as late as I'm thinking it was. Coos Bay is a very active city, so it was busy. There's people were riding all around, driving, things like that. Very friendly city. I had no issues. People always ask me the homeless population. The homeless population did not seem as bad as it was when I came out here a few years ago. I don't know if they cracked down. Something with the laws changed. I don't know, but I saw homeless people here and there, but it wasn't as big as I saw the last time I was here. If you're watching this and you're from Coos Bay, maybe you can disagree or whatever, but I'm just saying, as a tourist or someone come through, it didn't hit me in the face. And there's cities where it hits you in the face. When I do my video of Seattle, it hits you in the face. And it's not funny, but it's kind of hypocritical, because most of the time the homeless population is kept out in Seattle area, is kept out of the touristy areas for the most part. But it's also a lot of times the homeless population gets stuck in the lower income areas where there's not as many property owners, and most stuff is rent. So they don't have as much of a voice, or they don't believe they have as much of a voice. You're not going to find them in the hoity-toity areas as much, but you do see them there even so, but not as bad. Anyway, so we're riding around Coos Bay. Coos Bay is really cool. People are real nice. I'm riding an Lectric XP step through with 3.0 long range. As I said earlier, I got a second battery. So the second battery I got, I'm not worried about range. So we're just riding. I'm not worried. And by the end of this trip, I won't even have to put in my second battery. And if I didn't say, I have the long range battery that came with it, which is the 14 mAh, but I bought a used 10 mAh battery, which is the regular stock one that would come in if you didn't get the long range version. And they're both exactly the same. The step throughs, it's just one has a bigger battery. That's it. My bike can go up to 28 miles an hour. It is unlocked. With the 48 volt 14 mAh battery, which comes with mine, it's supposed to go up to 65 miles. That's on level 1. The motor has a max output of 1,000 peak at the rear hub motor, and 55 Nm of torque. Now the standard battery that also has a range of 45, and that's going to be, I'm guessing, level 1 if you're 180. I'm around 200 pounds. I'm probably a little over depending on the day. I wish I was 180, but I'm not. Maybe one day. Maybe I'm trying a little bit. The rider height on the Lectric XP 3.0 step through is it ranges from the minimum you should be, according to them, is 4'10" to 6'3". I'm 6 foot. I have no problem on it. It's a good meaty bike. It's heavy, but it feels solid for a folding bike, and the power is pretty good on it, guys. Does it take hills as well as my old Lectric X Premium? No, but it is a more powerful motor now, so it doesn't struggle up them as bad as the older ones. And in traffic, like you will see me sometimes in traffic, it easily outperforms my old Lectric X Premium, just because it's a hub motor. So it gets up and goes, so people aren't irritated behind you, you know, if you have to get out into traffic. Max payload capacity, according to them, is 330, but I also have read on Reddit and different things, people that are way more ride these bikes too. I would just also be mindful that it's a folding bike. So, you know, they have their weak points. Yeah, so just be mindful that if you are a little bit overloaded in weight, you know, just use common sense. We know that. These bikes come fully assembled. I recommend tightening everything up. They're fairly decent quality. They're not the best, but they work. They're not the worst either, by the way. The total bike weight is 64 pounds with the 7-pound battery installed, so they are chunks. Also, in the 3.0 certified UL 2849 as well, and the lithium ion battery is certified UL 2271. Okay, like I said, step through 1 is going to be 45. Pedal assist 1 is going to be 45 miles, and pedal assist 2, or pedal assist 1 in long range with the bigger battery is going to be 65 miles. Now, standard range, according to them, on throttle only with the regular battery is 20 miles, and on the long range battery is 30 miles. So if I didn't pedal, if I had to use both batteries, I should get around, with me, I weigh 20 pounds over what the riders they tested. I would say 40 miles on straight throttle. Let's take off 10 miles on straight throttle. But I'm riding around the city for the most part, unless sometimes when I'm out in really, you know, busy traffic and I want to make sure, you know, I'm staying up with traffic. For the most part, I'm riding around in level 3. So level 3 pedal assist is going to be 25 miles of range for if I had the standard battery in there, but right now I have the long range battery in there, so it's supposed to be 35. So let's say, since I weigh 20 pounds more than a test rider, let's cut it down to about 27 to 30 miles of range realistically with me on it. I think that's about realistic anyway. The bike has no problem staying up in traffic, especially in a city. Coos Bay is a nice little city. It's busy. It's got a nice, decent downtown right off the 101. Lots of place to eat. It's off the water. There's a little trail system right there you can walk. I'll do a little short video of me walking around closer to dusk after I get done riding. I will end up picking up my phone and going and walking into town, or driving into town and then walking around for a little bit and taking just a little short video of walking around at dark time. And I'll let you know already, walking around downtown, I did not feel unsafe or anything. I don't usually feel unsafe. I have my head on a swivel, and you know, it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but there was no issues with me being worried about that. Anyway, riding around, I had a lot of fun riding around in here. Like I said, no range anxiety because of the secondary battery. I was scoping stuff out. I really like Coos Bay's neighborhoods. I thought they had some really cool houses. So later on, when I would go around and go get something to eat, when I actually drove into downtown and walked around, I would look at real estate. And you know, guys, if you're from Oregon, certain parts of Oregon and stuff, when I say stuff is cheap, I'm comparing it. I'm talking about housing and stuff. I'm comparing it to folks coming from out of town. I live in the Denver area. So when I see a house for $150,000, $200,000, and I'm not looking, my kids are mostly grown. If I was looking to move here, for say, I don't need more than a 2 or 3 bedroom house, and I don't need it brand new. I just need it to have potential and to be in a good neighborhood and not have to dump a ton of money in, but you know, modest amount if you need it. And the prices are right here. So, because I always get people, it's not cheap here. I'm talking relative to someone who lives in Denver, which someone in LA who's selling their house may look at Denver and think Denver's really cheap. And I can't, you get what I'm saying, guys, because there's always the peanut gallery that wants to tell you. And about crime, I don't know it like that. All I can tell you is I rode around. I didn't see as many homeless people as I saw the last time. Is there probably some drug issues here? Of course. That's most small towns. But one thing I did see here, and I saw this in Eureka, California as well, is a pretty significant, in Redding was even more so, a significant police presence in downtown. Not talking about flashing lights, but they were around. They were driving. When some places you go to, and I'm not talking about small town cities, you're like, wait, where are the cops at? All this going on, ain't no cop around here. No, I think they let their presence be known in this little city. Redding was really good, and Redding, California was a really nice city, really clean, and there was cops all over downtown. They weren't playing those games. They had them in undercover cars and stuff too. But I'm riding around. I stopped and talked to a gentleman who had an Airedale. Maybe he might see my video, but it's a gentleman probably around my age. He was walking an Airedale, and I grew up with Airedale Terriers and King of the Terriers. And I saw one, and I was telling him it was so funny. I think it was. I haven't saw an Airedale in forever, and I've seen two in like that last month. And I grew up with my grandmother. Bred them and I always had them. I always meant to get one, and I never did. They're not as popular in Colorado, so what they cost was outrageous. So anyway, I'm right on Lectric XP. I got an aftermarket seat on here. I'll leave a link in the description. That's super comfy. I got a backpack on with my battery in it, and I got a little bag that goes on the back of my rack where I keep stuff like tube, some tools, a little patch kit, and I can put my water on. I will leave a link in the description for that. FYI, if I go into places, what I also do is I lock my bike up, but I carry two locks. I have the Lectric XP lock, and I can leave you a link for one exactly like it. Lectric, a lot of these e-bike companies, when they're selling these proprietary, supposedly locks, they're not really that. They just have their name slapped on. So I can leave you a link for those. You can use it with any bike. It mounts onto my e-bike, but it mounts onto a lot of them too. Anyway, so I have that lock, but then I have a secondary lock. It's not going to be as good as my first lock, but it's a decent lock. It's not a lock I would lock my bike up by on its own, but this is the delay tactic. You want someone, when they come to, if they're looking to steal some bikes, you want them to look at yours and like, oh, that's a little too much work. Go to the next one. That's sad to say, but that's what you're wanting. You want them to move on. It's like having the club in your car. Do not listen to YouTube either on this, where you tell someone, oh, the club. I have a club on a Kia. No one's even ever bothered that car because it's more work than anything. I don't care what someone did on YouTube. That's not reality. Those things do work. People want something easy when they're trying to steal, not something that's going to take time and gets eyes put on them. So that's why I recommend carry a second lock. Just have you a second one. It doesn't have to be the most fancy, and don't lock them exactly the same. You know what I mean? Don't have them wrapped around each other. You want it where it's separate, and it makes it difficult for people to steal it as much. That's what I do. And I ride around cities. I parked this bike in Seattle, and not the greatest neighborhoods. Not bad neighborhoods, but, use common sense. But, just normal neighborhoods. But neighbors have a little more crime. Went and grabbed a bite to eat, and guess what? My bike was still there. Sometimes when I'm out riding too, depending on where I'm at, there was that Airedale I was talking about. So I stopped and talked with that man, for the gentleman right there, for like a minute or two, and we were just talking about Airedales and stuff. He was real cool. Anyway, riding through this neighborhood, really nice. All these neighborhoods, I do not know where I'm going. So I'm just riding. That's what happens when you have a second battery, or you say you have one super large battery. You don't really worry as much. I'm not worried. I'm still on my first battery and probably down to like 3 bars and still got a while to go. The bike is doing really well, and also I have gotten much better at not just riding around in level pedal assist 5. Here's a reason. Pedal assist 5, I use it in the city when I'm trying to get out of traffic, or I need to get on a really busy street just to keep up real quick and get off of it. But pedal assist 5, when you use it on like side streets and stuff like this, you miss out on seeing things. I'm on vacation. I'm not trying to go to 30 miles an hour. Sometimes I can hit 30, 32 miles with this bike now. I'm not trying to miss out on seeing things and just viewing things. Because if I'm going to fly around at 30 miles an hour in these little neighborhoods on my bike, heck, I might as well just hop in the car, and miss out on everything. If I wasn't on vacation, say I lived here, I was in my community, I was trying to go to the grocery store or something like that, yes, that's different. But when I'm on vacation, I'm really trying to take in stuff. I'm looking around. I'm a looky-loo. I'm checking out stuff. Oh, check out this building. Oh, that's different. Oh, look at this little area. This is nice. Stuff like that. So I don't need to ride around like I'm going, as fast as a car. But totally get it, and I do it too when I'm on a mission. I'm trying to go somewhere. If I had a certain place I was trying to go, like a trail or something like that, then I probably would go 30 miles an hour if I've already been here a day or two. So I'm trying to get there to do what I need to do, whatever. Anyway, the smell here smells good. Got the ocean air all around you. There's water right next to it. The elevation here is like 135 feet or something like that. There are some kind of significant hills. The Lectric XP took care of them like a champ. The hub motor in this is much more powerful than the old one. I do wish they would get up to about, 1500 peak. I think it would make a huge difference too. That Lectric X Premium, you wouldn't even need it. And I'm not knocking Lectric X Premium, it has its place. But if this was like 1200, it'd be even better. So anyway, super comfy, lots of trees, beautiful. The sun came out. The clouds were up for a while, but now the sun is out again. It was beautiful, even clouded over. It is so green out here because it rains, but it was so green. Like I said, people were nice. My bike did really well. Made sure I had proper pressure. I did a little bit of overinflation, not drastic, but a little bit over because it helps with the range a little bit more. And I was not going off-road anyway. This trip, I brought my 23, really now it's my son's 2023 Nissan Kicks. I was going to bring the electric car, the Nissan Aria, but honestly, I took it to Albuquerque, and I realized it's a hassle. I'll take it on trips, but I'm not taking it that far. They're just a hassle. If you're going to take an electric car with you, leave a day earlier than you expected. You just will, and you'll thank me later. When I went to Albuquerque, I missed out on some stuff because I left at the time I'd leave in a gas car, and it cost me hours. So, I learned my lesson, but I didn't want to bring it on this trip because I didn't want the hassle, to be honest with you. So, I brought the Nissan Kicks, smaller on the inside, but I took out the back seats, which took me maybe 20 minutes to take them out, and it had way more room than the Nissan Aria afterwards. My bike fit in there with no problem. If I was a few inches shorter, I could have slept in the back even with the bike in there. So everything fit in that car perfect. The car did it. It was like a champ, and it gained horsepower, of course, because I'm coming from a smaller city. A higher elevation, like 5,280 feet versus 135. So the car gained horsepower because it wasn't getting starved like it usually is, the type of car it is. So it's performed like a champ on the drive here. The seats are a little uncomfortable though. I did put a little pad in them, but they are very uncomfortable. It will likely be the last time I bring the car just because I have more comfortable cars. So it won't be bringing that or the electric car. I'll bring one of the others. I'm about comfort now. Getting older, I don't want to be not comfortable. If I sleep in the car, I want to be in a car that's comfortable to sleep in, or a CUV, SUV van. It's got to still be comfy, you know what I mean? So yeah, but anyway, it was a good drive out of here. Also, I took a different way. As you heard in some of my other videos, I didn't do the usual way where I go through the Oregon Badlands and through Boise and all that stuff. I actually took a different route where I went through Nevada, and I ended up going through Lake Tahoe because I wanted to check out more of the northern California interior and around the Tahoe area, which was really cool around that area. I really like the California side of Tahoe as well. I like that area. I rode through Susanville, all those areas, these more wooded parts of California with the redwoods and everything. I thought they were really cool. I would like to go back and explore it, and I saw some really cool camping areas as well. So we're riding around. You see some of the hills I'm going up and down. After a while, I stopped going too far out because I'm like, I don't really know where I'm going here. And yes, I have another battery, but I also don't want to be lost at night, either. I'm not going to get lost. I got GPS, but you know what I mean? It's probably starting to get a little bit closer to dark time, and I'm like, I don't want to go too far out, because I am riding with cars in some areas. Some areas do not have, like here, they don't have bike trails, so I'm trying to stay over into the dirt and stuff, and also making sure I don't get taken out by a sign or by a mailbox. You know what I mean? So this is a hill I'm actually on right here. But as far as power goes with the Lectric XP 3.0, it is great. Is Lectric XP 3.0 the best bike? Absolutely not. Is it a good budget bike? Yes. Is there probably other budget bikes that are better? Yeah, if you really hunt for them. I have other budget bikes that do great. My bikes I prefer actually over the Lectric XP at this time that I have is I got to do a review on is a Rad Power, the Rad Rover 6 Plus. I bought it for my wife. I unboxed it. I rode it. I love that bike. It's not a folding bike. But oh, I love that bike. That bike it's a solid bike. It came out, turned it on, rode it, no noises, squeaks, all that crap that you get a lot of times out of the folding bikes right away out of the box. The build quality is good on it. It was a little more expensive, but it's a good bike. So, but this bike, I am not getting rid of it. I'm still going to use it. I have a second battery, and it rides well. It seems a little more finicky with the maintenance and having to keep up on stuff because it's got squeaks and stuff it'll get if you ain't careful. But you know what? It's okay. I enjoy riding. I still ride it a lot. I enjoy the how you sit on it, especially after you change the seat and put a better seat on it. They have slowly improved these bikes over the years. From when I had the very first one. I never had the 2.0. I had the 1.0, and I thought it was a blast, but it was rickety. You could hear me coming a mile away. It's a noisy, loud motor and everything. This one's much quieter. Like I said, the motor has an upgraded 1,000-watt peak at that rear hub motor. It comes with front and rear hydraulic disc brakes with 100mm rotors. Make sure you clean the rotors off when you first get them too, in case there's any oil on it or anything that prevents it from rusting and stuff like that. But as far as what it costs, and watch when they have deals. I have deals where they give a bunch of stuff out. When they say it's like worth $400 or $500, take that with a grain of salt. They're not worth $400 or $500, but it's worth a few hundred. I mean, especially if you want to get everything. Because like right now, as I'm making this video, they're running the one where you get the cargo basket and stuff, and things like that, and a bottle holder and all that. Now that's a decent deal for the same price. But disclaimer: there's no real disclaimer. Lectric XP didn't give me this bike. This is an honest review of this bike. So there's not going to be, it's the greatest thing that I've ever ridden. Yeah, you're saying that because you got it for free, and all your stuff you're saying is kind of, generic. So we know you got it for free, and the YouTubers out there be doing that. I'm not going to tell you it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it is not. But it's a good bike. It's a good budget bike, and that's what I'll say. Is it a budget bike? Anyway, let's continue on. We're riding. We're having fun. I'm starting to think about what I want to go eat. So now I'm slowly making my way back. Oh, I stayed at the Motel 6 here in Coos Bay. It's literally on the 101. The gas station is right down the street. I looked up. I went on Orbitz. I went on others. I looked up the reviews, and the reviews were average. I get there, it's clean. The people working the front desk were nice. The lady who was running the front desk, I think I don't remember right. She may be fairly new to Oregon, so she was, a fairly new transplant. Really nice. People in the morning were nice. The room was clean. It was a perfect spot. It was on the second floor, but I wasn't tripping on it because I had so much room in my vehicle that I was able to leave it folded and just pull the battery out that I used and charge it overnight while I was in there, and not have to lug the bike up there and stuff like that. And the car I took is so tinted, and I had something over. You would never know that bike was in there, and it was also bolted. Anyway, this is the Motel 6 I stayed at. Go there. Go check it out, everyone. Have fun. I think it's a great place to go. I like Coos Bay. I'll leave Amazon links in the description. I'll recommend Coos Bay to anybody who's interested. Take your e-bike, take your regular bike, get out there and have fun. Have a good day, everyone. This is Frugal Panda out. Bye.